me would look like this, but I am grateful for the ones who stayed. When the world turned loud and cold, when words were thrown and stories told, some walked away, some joined the fight, but you stayed here, you were my light. I didn't always have the strength, some days I barely breathed at length, but you reminded me I'm more than all the battles at my door. And I don't take that love for granted, the way you planted hope in me. When everything felt broken, you helped me finally see. You helped me finally see. You helped me finally see. Because you said I kept going, I kept going. Because you cared, I kept going. And through the darkest nights I knew I could make it thanks to you. This channel isn't just a stream, it's more than we could ever choose. True crime, crafts, and hearts that mend, a family that won't pretend, won't pretend. I am grateful I am here, because you turn my pain to cheer. And even those who walked away, I hope they find a better day. I won't be bitter, I won't close, my heart still grows, my kindness flows. That's what life is meant to be, a face for you, peace for you, a place for me. I lost so much I won't deny. Some days I still just wonder why, but purpose came and so did you. And now I know what I can do to build a space where voices rise, where no one hides, where truth survives, where friendship means you show you care, not just when life is easy there. Because you stayed, I keep believing. Because you cared, I keep achieving. Through every tear, through everything, I still remember every night. This is more than just a stream, it's family, it's our dream. Grateful heart, always say, thank you for staying, because you stayed.
Okay, hopefully you can hear me. Let me just do this. Clear my mic. Sorry, I forgot to unmute my mic. Okay, so hi everybody. I thought what we do tonight, because we did today, listen to the opening statements and we went over the shocking news that Letecia Stauch's conviction was overturned. Okay, this is a decision. She is getting a new trial. There's no doubt about that. Now, again, I have to keep reiterating, while we are all very upset, most of us, I shouldn't say all because I can't speak for everyone, but most people are very upset that the family has to go through this again. It is warranted 100%, because if you care about the judicial system in this country and you care about it being performed correctly, for due process, for everyone to have a trial of unbiased jurors, then you have to understand that this is necessary when you find out what the reason is. The reason that she's getting a new trial, and I have a very succinct layperson's explanation in the video description, and I'm going to just read it out to you in case you missed it today, okay? So it's a structural error. The core of the appeal was about a juror that they referred to as M.B., Michael Bryan. I'm not saying the person's name is Michael Bryan. The initials M.B. I'm just letting you know what letters they are, so I'm giving you names that start with them. Whose son-in-law worked as a deputy district attorney. Now just try to process this. The son-in-law of the juror worked as the deputy district attorney in the same office as the district attorney, okay, as Michael Allen, the prosecutor in this case. And this isn't something that caught anybody by surprise. The defense raised this argument, okay, and then the judge should have immediately disqualified that juror. They didn't, okay? And so if a juror is related to one of the attorneys in the case or someone in their office, they are considered impliedly biased. There's a bias that's implied, okay, as a matter of law. During jury selection, the defense challenged this juror for cause, meaning that they asked the judge, hey, remove this juror because of this relationship that they have in the prosecutor's office. But the judge refused to dismiss the juror, okay, mistakenly believing that the juror could be rehabilitated by promising to be fair. That's not... The appeals court ruled that because the bias was implied by law due to the relationship, the judge was required to remove him immediately. It doesn't matter if they want to put the blame on the defense and say they should have used, one of their strikes to get that juror off or asked for another. It doesn't matter. The defense doesn't have to do something to curate the judge's mistake. They don't have to. So because juror M.B. actually was sat on this jury and actually was deliberating in this case and to help deliver this verdict, it's a structural error. And in the legal world, that structural error is so fundamental that it infects the entire framework of the trial and cannot be ignored. And therefore, the original guilty verdict was thrown out. Her conviction was overturned. She gets a new trial. That's it. She also had something else about a search warrant, which was a small win for the state. She wanted, let me make sure that my sound is okay because I'm hearing someone texting me and I want to make sure that... The appeals... No, you can hear me. Okay, so then the next thing was this search warrant, and she said it was too broad. It was overly broad, but they showed that if it was with the affidavit, which it wasn't overly broad, and there was a reason for it, and so that is all going to stay. She's not getting any evidence suppressed, which is a good thing. All right, so I thought, okay, let's go back and talk about and go through the original affidavit, because there are a lot of people that probably are not familiar with this case, and so, okay, let's do that. Here, hold on a minute. My phone is being silly here. Let me just see what my phone is doing here. What is this about here? Hang on 1 second. Hold on one second. I have to write something. It's really important to Jimmy. Sorry about this. Okay, hang on one sec. Alrighty. Sorry, I just had to take care of something really important because... Alright, that's done now. As soon as I can figure out how to send that, good. So I thought we'd go through the original arrest affidavit, which I'm going to pull up here right now. And if you remember, if you followed this case, you remember this affidavit at first leaked out. Remember that this one was the one that leaked out? And it was all over like Reddit and everything? Yep. Okay, but let's see here. So this is the following affidavit is submitted to the court to document the probable cause in support of a request for the issuance of an arrest warrant for Stauch Letecia, date of birth 8/4/1983. This was filed February 28th, 2020, over 6 years ago. The offense is fully documented in the El Paso County Sheriff's Office offense report detailing the offenses listed below in paragraph 2. This is when a lot of us got this affidavit, as we do in almost every case, and we're shocked by the amount of evidence. And this exact affidavit I've referenced many times in the Nancy Guthrie case, talking about the blood that they found of Gannon Stauch in the house to show that it was incompatible with human life. Okay, so we have, with the victim identified as Gannon Stauch, born 9/29/2008. White male. Your affiant is Jessica Bethel, a duly sworn and state certified police officer and detective with the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, employed since 2010. Your affiant has participated. Okay, she goes on through all this stuff, right? We don't need that. Here's the following facts to demonstrate probable cause to believe that on or about January 27th, 2020, in the county of El Paso in the state of Colorado, the defendant Letecia Stauch, also known as Letecia Harden, did commit the following offenses hereinafter referred to as the violations. Murder in the first degree of a child under 12 in a position of trust, child abuse resulting in death, tampering with a deceased human body, tampering with physical evidence. Oh, and the other juror that was a problem was someone that said they didn't want to go on child abuse cases. They would not be fair. You know, there was other issues besides that one juror, just so you know. The affidavit is being submitted to support the issuance for an arrest warrant for the violations. The facts in the affidavit come from my personal observations, my training and experience, and information obtained from other agents, law enforcement officials, and witnesses. The contents of this affidavit were derived by reading reports, viewing evidence, and as provided to me by other ESO investigators and special agents of the FBI. And this was a search for Gannon Stauch that they gave constant press conference for, very different than Nancy Guthrie. Much of this affidavit was prepared by the FBI Special Agent Cohen, but I have reviewed the below facts carefully. I have no reason to doubt any investigator's accuracy or truthfulness in their reports. This affidavit is intended to show merely that there is sufficient probable cause for the requested warrant and does not set forth all of my knowledge about this matter. In summary, and as will be set forth below, probable cause exists to issue an arrest warrant for Letecia Stauch for the violations. The vast array of investigative techniques in this investigation have produced a voluminous amount of evidence in support of the requested warrant. Investigators have executed physical search warrants and collected evidence from vehicles associated with Letecia, cellular devices utilized by Letecia, and from the residence of Letecia. Electronic search warrants have been executed to entities including but not limited to Facebook, Apple Inc., Google Inc., AT&T Wireless, Verizon Wireless, ADT Security System, Tile, Life 360, Yahoo, Ring doorbell service. Some of the physical evidence has been examined by a laboratory for DNA profiles. Investigators also recovered a significant amount of exterior video footage from individuals, privately owned neighborhood security cameras, and businesses around Colorado Springs, Colorado, and cameras in other surrounding areas. Some cameras provided recorded footage of the exterior of the Stauch residence. Historical cellular records and historical cell site details were analyzed and that's redacted. Oh, hi, Terry. How are you? Hi. Some but not all of the available photos of other evidence collected from the aforementioned search warrants and other investigative steps are included below, but they're not meant to represent all the evidence available. Furthermore, there has been no intentional exclusion of photos that could be deemed exculpatory in nature. The information contained in this affidavit can be found in the EPSO case report. Did you follow this case, Terry K? I'm good. How are you? Facts in support of probable cause. The Stauch family and general information. The Stauch family is a blended family, and all will be discussed at various points below. The representation purposely has little details in order to give an overview of the family structure. The father is Eugene Al Stauch. The stepmother, Letecia Stauch. Daughter, Harley Hunt, a minor, 17 years of age. She is by blood to Letecia, not Al. So she's Letecia's daughter, okay? Son, Gannon Stauch, minor, 11 years of age, by blood to Al, not Letecia. Daughter, Lena Stauch, minor, 8 years old, by blood to Al, not Letecia. The following vehicles will be discussed at various points. A red Nissan Frontier, Mr. Stauch's main vehicle. A black Volkswagen Tiguan, Letecia's main vehicle. A little bit, I looked it up, and what she did to the little boy made me... Yeah, this little boy was just a little older than Luke. And I don't know if it was right between Ethan and Luke, and I think I must have mentioned that many times covering this case, but now I'm just realizing it even more. So then, maybe it's just because I haven't covered this case in so long. So sad when I think about, so much of this. Okay. The black Volkswagen Tiguan, Letecia's main vehicle. White Volkswagen Jetta, Harley's main vehicle. Silver Nissan Altima, a rental car obtained by Letecia's aunt, Brenda, acquired and utilized by Letecia from January 30th to February 1st, 2020, after her Tiguan was seized by the El Paso Sheriff's Office on January 29th, 2020, and then a white Kia Rio. Why is there always a Kia in these cases, right? I don't know. At least it wasn't the Kia Soul. A rental car obtained and utilized by Letecia on January 28th to 29th, 2020. Letecia, AKC Letecia Hardin, Date of birth 8/4/1983, is the last person known to investigators to see 11-year-old. So wait, Letecia's going to be, she's only going to be, wait a second, 43? Wow. She's the last person known to investigators. She was 37 when this happened. Crazy. I don't know. She's always seemed so much older. She's the last person known to investigators to see 11-year-old Gannon Stauch, date of birth 9/29/2008, alive. Letecia is Gannon's stepmother and was Gannon's only known adult supervision in the days preceding and on the day of his murder. At the time of Gannon's murder, Letecia was employed by the school district 20 as an assistant teacher, although I have also learned that she is no longer employed there. I was able to locate prior criminal history for Letecia, and I learned that in North Carolina, Robeson County court case, 2001 CRSO 11193, Letecia was convicted after a trial for communicating threats, a misdemeanor, but I was not able to locate her sentencing information. Letecia was also convicted of unauthorized use of a motor vehicle in Robeson County court case and was sentenced to 45 days confinement and 18 months of probation. Although not criminal in nature, I was able to locate a document memorializing the suspension of Letecia's North Carolina teaching certificate on or about May 11th, 2016. As part of that document, it's reported that Letecia had filed unsubstantiated claims of harassment and retaliation. Isn't that funny? Because today we found out she is claiming retaliation in prison, right? If you listened to my live from before. And the North Carolina State Board found that Mrs. Stauch breached her contract by engaging in unprofessional conduct, willfully neglecting her duty, and failing to comply with the provisions of her contract. Letecia's criminal history is only included by way of background for the court, and because Letecia has been convicted of previous crimes, it is not meant to indicate guilt of the violations or to be considered as the sole basis of probable cause for the requested warrant. Eugene Albert Stauch, aka Al Stauch, date of birth 9/20/1982, is Gannon's biological father and is married to Letecia Stauch. Mr. Stauch was deployed with the National Guard during the dates of January 25, 2020 to January 28, 2020. Mr. Stauch spent the night in Denver on January 25, 2020 and departed via commercial airline on January 26, 2020, returning via commercial airline on January 28, 2020. Investigators were able to corroborate this information, and Mr. Stauch has cooperated fully in the below investigation. Of note, and in some portions of this affidavit, depending on the date of events being discussed, the investigation may be referred to as a missing persons investigation or a murder investigation. For the purposes of this affidavit, they are indeed one and the same. The subsequent information primarily surrounds the period of Monday, January 27, 2020 to Wednesday, January 29, 2020. Investigators have taken independent steps to corroborate information received throughout the investigation and in most circumstances have video footage, cellular communications, and location records, security system records, or other records To support the below claims, the summary section is only meant to give the court an overview of the investigation, and the facts supporting this summary will be articulated below. Okay. On January 27, 2020, on or about 18:55 hours, Letecia Stauch reported Gannon Stauch missing after calling 911. And during the call, she was instructed to call the El Paso County non-emergency line. In summary, Letecia stated that Gannon was supposed to have been home approximately 1 hour ago and that she was unable to locate him at a friend's house. Her story, though, dramatically changed multiple times over the following days. As will be discussed below, investigators do not believe Letecia went to any neighboring houses to attempt to locate Gannon. It was one of many lies told by Letecia during the investigation. Letecia was unable to provide the actual location of the homes that she went to, the names of Gannon's friends he was supposed to be playing with, or the names of the parents of Gannon's friends. I don't know. There's people watching, but where is everybody in the chat, Terry? Just give it some time. I'm sure they'll be meandering in. Are you trying to say no one likes me, Terry? Not nice. Not nice. Okay. Deputies responded to Letecia's residence at 6627 Mandan Drive, Colorado Springs, Colorado, and were unable to locate Gannon. Deputies conducted a limited search for the residence and took a report from Letecia. Some of the interactions between the responding deputies and Letecia were captured on body-worn cameras. A missing persons investigation was initiated and in the coming days developed into a murder investigation. Hey, Dookie likes bling. Hey, thank you, Dookie. Okay. Hi, Annie Millions. How are you? Okay, so now we've got, you know what? She reported him missing, right? For those of you that followed this case when it broke, I'll tell you something. You remember this, okay? We were all worried. This woman calls, and she calls and says that, hey, her kid went to this house, and I believe it was around like Martin Luther King Day or something. There was a holiday or something. She said he wasn't feeling well at first, and then he went to the friend's house, and then he didn't come home. And everybody's like all up in arms looking for this kid. This was around, I believe, the same time as, either right before or after Harvey Dilley and a bunch of other things we were covering. And everybody was really worried. And then it started to change again, right? It's of your belief that Two Scoots is snacking? Maybe. I think Two Scoots is probably sleeping. Do you know she stayed up the entire day? Not kidding you. Deputies responded to Letecia's residence and were unable to locate Gannon. They conducted a limited search of the residence and they took a report from Letecia. Some of the interactions between the responding deputies and Letecia were captured on body-worn camera. A missing persons investigation was initiated and in the coming days developed into a murder investigation. A tip line was established, and investigators received hundreds of tips and leads from the public by virtue of emails and telephone calls. As part of this tip line, 2 ransom notes were received by email demanding money in the form of Bitcoin. Oh my gosh, I forgot about this, you guys. You see that? Isn't that weird? This is 6 years ago. 2 ransom notes demanding money in the form of Bitcoin, and we know those are fake because Gannon was murdered. In exchange for Gannon's return, investigators took steps to validate those ransom notes, including resolving and geolocating the IP addresses from the email headers and requesting subscriber information from the internet service providers that hosted those IP addresses. One of the ransom notes was sent from a foreign-based email account that is accessible by multiple individuals. Investigators were unable to trace the user of the IP addresses. Interesting, right? And believe the ransom notes to be fraudulent and strictly designed as a scheme to receive money. Letecia initially claimed that she last saw Gannon on Monday, January 27th, when he left their residence to play with his friends somewhere around 15 hours. Based on the facts outlined below and Letecia's statement to the El Paso Sheriff's Office dispatcher, Letecia's the last person that saw Gannon alive. Letecia stated that she attempted to find him at a neighbor's house and sent her daughter, Harley Hunt, to look for Gannon at a park. Letecia lied to investigators on multiple occasions, has unexplained abnormal behavior such as obtaining a rental car, disconnecting her cell phone from the cellular network for an extended period of time, the false reporting of an alleged abnormal patterns of travel, a continuously evolving story with material changes in facts and circumstances, and since left the state of Colorado. Yeah, she gets a new trial. These actions, when combined with other facts in this affidavit, support the totality of probable cause for the requested warrant and will be discussed below. The following section will outline what investigators have learned about Letecia's activity on January 27, 2020. And outline the period when Gannon was likely murdered. Some of the information contained in this section will be repeated in other portions of this affidavit or discussed later in more detail. Remember, they had not even found Gannon's body at this point. Additionally, there are evidence sources that are mentioned here but are not fully defined in other sections. Hi, Millie. Investigators believe that Gannon was murdered by Letecia Stauch in the afternoon hours after approximately 14 hours on January 27, 2020 at his residence, and more specifically in his bedroom. Physical evidence recovered from the residence and inside Gannon's bedroom supports that a violent event occurred in his bedroom, which caused bloodshed, including blood spatter on the walls and enough blood loss to stain his mattress, soak through the carpet pad, and stain the concrete below his bed. Some photographs of this evidence are included. Based on evidence recovered from the residence, Gannon's remains were eventually brought through the house into the garage and likely loaded into the back of Letecia's Volkswagen Tiguan. After cleaning the murder scene, Letecia utilized the Tiguan to transport and dump Gannon's remains on the evening of January 28, 2020. Letecia likely disposed of his remains off of Highway 105 South Perry Park Road in Douglas County, Colorado. Indeed, the Metro Crime Laboratory determined the blood discovered in Gannon's bedroom, the Stauch's garage, and blood on a piece of particle board located off of Highway 105 South Perry Park Road all matched his DNA profile. On Monday, January 27th, Gannon Stauch stayed home from school. Based on text messages from Letecia to Mr. Stauch, Gannon was up most of Sunday evening with stomach problems. Letecia did tell Gannon's school, Grand Mountain Elementary, that Gannon would be absent on Monday. Investigators were able to verify that Gannon was marked as an excused absence that day. Letecia also told Al that, "I'm just going to give them an excuse at work and stay with him." Indeed, Letecia did come up with an excuse, and she told her employer via text message at or about 4:37 hours that her stepdad was killed after being hit by a car, and she would not be able to come to work that day. Okay, do you remember that? Letecia did come up with an excuse and told her employer that her stepdad was killed after being hit by a car and she would not be able to come to work that day. Other electronic evidence, such as the time and date stamped photographs and videos, were recovered from Letecia's cell phone and indicate Gannon was likely still alive during the morning of January 27, 2020. As displayed in paragraph 54 below, images were taken on Letecia's cell phone at or about 8:13 and 8:17 hours on the morning of January 27, 2020, showing Gannon sleeping in his bed. Of particular note, his Nintendo Switch is visible in the photo lying next to him on the bed. Mr. Stauch has said that this gaming system was of high importance to Gannon. To date, investigators have been unable to locate the Nintendo Switch. It should also be noted that Letecia used her phone the following day, January 28th, on or about 12:57 hours to conduct a Google search. Can Nintendo find my Switch? This is also detailed in a list of some of the search history in paragraph 141, and reasonably occurred because she was contemplating how she would dispose of the Switch. I conducted a Google search for the term "Can Nintendo find my Switch?" and learned that the Switch does not come with any sort of tracking ability. As such, Letecia likely felt it was safe to dispose of the Switch and used the missing Switch to help deceive law enforcement into searching for Gannon as a possible runaway. Ultimately, investigators located video surveillance from a neighbor's surveillance camera that showed what investigators believed to be Letecia and an individual that appeared to match Gannon's physical description depart their residence in the Nissan Frontier at or about 10:16 hours on January 27th, 2020. The video camera is several homes away and does not provide images clear enough to make positive identifications of those captured in the recording. The vehicle returned home at about 14:19 hours and Letecia exited the vehicle. After viewing the vehicle, I cannot be sure if another person exited the vehicle or not, but I submit Gannon likely did return home with Letecia that afternoon. These times, corroborated by data collected from an ADT security system installed in the Stauch residence, are discussed below in more detail. Based on the data returned from the Stauch's ADT security system, the motion detectors in the living room or basement did not register any activity from approximately 10:12 hours until Letecia and Gannon enter the home at approximately 14:22 hours. Investigators confirmed Lena to be in school and confirmed that Harley was at work. As such, investigators believe there was likely nobody else in the residence except Letecia and Gannon. Letecia's historical cell site information detailed information about her iPhone status and a text message sent to Harley from Gannon's cell phone, and they support that Letecia left her cell phone at the Stauch residence the morning of January 27, 2020. The fact that Letecia left her phone at home is suspicious on its own, based on her history of extensive use of the phone. I have reviewed forensic search reports from Letecia's phone and found that she's an active user of social media, including but not limited to Facebook and Instagram. A more detailed review of Letecia's iPhone screen time log between January 25th at 800 hours and January 29th at 1100 hours revealed that Letecia spent approximately 38,607 seconds on Facebook and Facebook messages alone, which equates to approximately 10.7 hours of cumulative time over those few days. Letecia's telephone was locked at about 9:56 hours on January 27th and unlocked at 14:45 hours on the same day. The timing of the unlocking of the device is significant as compared to her departure and arrival to and from the residence and should be noted by the court. Particularly, Letecia did not open her phone for approximately 30 minutes after she arrived back to the residence. On January 27, 2020, there was a message sent from Gannon's phone to Harley's phone that reads, "Tisha left phone at home. If you need her, text me." The message was sent at or about 10:37 hours. Investigators were able to confirm, based on video surveillance footage and purchase receipts, that Letecia traveled to Petco on 5020 North Nevada Avenue, Colorado Springs, Colorado. This Petco is approximately 22 miles from the residence and is approximately a 30-minute drive based on Google Map directions. The receipt shows that Letecia completed her purchase at about 11:22 hours, and Gannon is not visible on any of the surveillance video obtained at Petco. Letecia's whereabouts are unknown between 11:22 and 13:22 hours. At 13:22 hours, Letecia was again captured on video surveillance making a second purchase at the same Petco. Mr. Stauch sent a text message to Gannon's cell phone at or about 12:06 hours that read, "Hey, buddy." This message was unanswered until 13:21 hours. The response was, "Can I play Zelda at least?" Mr. Stauch replied, "Not today." A significant event occurred on Gannon's phone at approximately 13:43 hours, which is prior to arriving back at the Stauch residence. There was an internet search for, "Can my parent find my cell phone if it's off?" I submit that this internet search was likely conducted by Letecia on Gannon's phone and not Gannon himself, based upon the content of the search, the way the search terms are phrased, and the presence of quotation marks in between phone and if. This is very similar to the way Letecia conducted searches on her phone. However, I located other internet searches with A and quotation marks in Gannon's search history, which I also reasonably believe were conducted by Letecia. A more detailed explanation of Letecia's search history is included below in paragraph 141. Furthermore, the search term was parent, singular. I submit it's reasonable that Mr. Stauch only, not Letecia, would be interested in the location of Gannon's phone, and that Letecia was possibly deliberating on how or if she would dispose of Gannon's phone after she murdered him. I conducted the Google search of "Can my parent find my cell phone if it's off?" and learned that the first answer returned in the search reads, "The answer to your question depends on what method is being used to track your location. Gannon's phone was found at the residence. I submit that Letecia did not get rid of Gannon's phone for fear it might be traceable." The Nissan Frontier returned to the Stauch residence at about 14:20 hours. A search warrant authorized by this court was executed on the Nissan Frontier and found no indications of blood inside the vehicle. Letecia had been without her cell phone for hours, yet her screen was not unlocked until approximately 14:45 hours, which was 25 minutes after she arrived back home at the residence. During that 25-minute period, there is motion activity, both upstairs and downstairs on the ADT records. Upstairs and downstairs motion. Lena returned home from school around 15 hours, and during a recorded forensic interview with investigators, Lena stated that when she returned home, Letecia told her Gannon was asleep in his bed and that she could not see him. Letecia told Lena to go outside and play. I submit that Lena was sent outside because Gannon was likely dead, and Letecia was cleaning up blood from inside the house. At or about 15:55 hours, Mr. Stauch sent another message to Gannon's phone. Hey, buddy. The message was not read until 1940 hours. It is likely that Gannon was already murdered by Letecia at the time Mr. Stauch sent that message. Based on exterior video footage, Harley arrived at the residence in her white VW Jetta at or about 16:42 hours and picked up Lena. At or about 16:52 hours on January 27th, Letecia sent a text message to Harley requesting carpet cleaner, trash bags, and baking soda. Those items were likely used to clean up the murder scene. Harley purchased these items, and the investigators located a receipt documenting this purchase. Harley Hunt has refused to speak with investigators. Investigators do not believe that Harley was present when Gannon was killed. Harley was at work on January 27, 2020, from 8:30 until 16:15 hours, and investigators were able to verify this with her employer. To be clear, investigators have not located any evidence that any person other than Lena and Letecia had access to Gannon between approximately 1,000 hours and 17:35 hours on January 27, 2020. Okay. Urafian has reviewed body-worn camera footage and reports obtained from a deputy that responded to the residence of the Stauch family. After responding, Letecia provided verbal consent for deputies to search the house for Gannon. By the way of timeline, the El Paso Sheriff's Office patrol responded at about 22:09 hours, approximately 3 hours after Letecia initially called 911. From the body-worn camera, I learned that the Volkswagen Tiguan, known to be leased and utilized by Letecia, was backed into the garage when El Paso Sheriff's Office was at the residence. The position of the Tiguan in the garage is significant, specifically because of the confirmed presence of Gannon's blood in the garage below the area where the rear hitch of the Tiguan would be, and the positive reaction of the Blue Star reagent, indicating the likely presence of blood on the Tiguan's rear bumper. Responding deputies also searched in Gannon's basement bedroom. I have viewed images of Gannon's bedroom taken from the body-worn camera, and below I have included a body-worn camera image of Gannon's bedroom on the left. On the right, an image recovered from Letecia's cell phone after executing a search warrant that was applied for and granted by the court. These images both represent the condition of Gannon's bedroom on January 27, 2020, on or about 8:13 hours and just after 2200 hours. The photo comparison is significant for many reasons. And in the corner of the bedroom where Gannon's head is visible is the key area discussed in several sections, because below, the placement of Gannon's bed in the immediate location where his blood, based on DNA profile results, was found on the wall, the carpet, and on the concrete below the carpet. These details are discussed below, and a large volume of blood appears to have been in this area. For the purposes of comparison between the two, where did I just lost my? For the purpose of comparison between the images, it appears that although the sheet may or may not be the same, the blankets are different and the pillowcase, if not the whole pillow, is different. I submit that a logical explanation for the missing bedding is likely they were saturated in blood after Gannon's murder, and they were removed by Letecia to clean up the murder scene. Furthermore, investigators were unable to locate the bedding in the Stauch residence during any of the approximately 5 searches of the residence. Did I read that part there? The placement of Gannon's bed in the immediate area where the blood was found, on the wall, on the carpet, and on the concrete. The details are discussed below. Okay. So it's hard to see these pictures because they're very dark. This is the one that was taken earlier, and this is the one that was taken later. Another photo was recovered from Letecia's cell phone that shows his bed was not pushed directly against the wall by the head of the bed. The photo articulates the ability for the blood to get onto the walls and floor in the corner of the bedroom. Mr. Stauch stated the positioning of his bed is unusual, and the bed is usually pushed against the wall. So these are very difficult to see. Mr. Stauch spent the night in Denver on January 25th, flew out of Denver International Airport on January 26th. Investigators were able to corroborate that he traveled to Dallas, Texas, ultimately to Oklahoma, based on his flight records. On the morning of January 28th, 2020, Letecia rented a 2019 Kia Rio from the Avis Rent-A-Car in Colorado Springs. Letecia picked up Mr. Stauch at the Colorado Springs airport at or around 8:50 hours on January 28th, shortly after Letecia rented the vehicle. Letecia and Mr. Stauch drove back to the residence from the airport in the rented Kia. The timing of the rental of the Kia is suspicious, and combined with forensic evidence later obtained from the Tiguan and discussed below, tends to place additional importance on why Letecia felt compelled to rent a vehicle that morning. Investigators located no evidence that the Tiguan was not mechanically functioning, or noted any reason why it could not have been physically driven. In fact, the Tiguan remained parked in the Colorado Springs Airport short-term parking lot until approximately 1900 hours on January 28th of 2020. Letecia provided statements to her husband, Albert Stauch, that she was concerned about putting mileage on her Tiguan lease, which justified the vehicle rental. It is noted, however, that during the time of the Kia rental, Letecia only put about 71 miles on the vehicle. And during the time period Letecia had the Kia, she would not provide the location of the Tiguan, and Mr. Stauch never saw the Tiguan. For example, she told Mr. Stauch that the Tiguan was near the French elementary school. Between investigators and Mr. Stauch, a limited search. Where did I go here? Hold on a minute. Did I go up too far? Yeah, I think so. Between investigators and Mr. Stauch, a limited search for the Tiguan was conducted and produced negative results. Investigators later learned she left the vehicle in the short-term parking lot of the Colorado Springs Airport, but removed the vehicle at or about January 28th at 1900 hours, and the Kia Rio was returned on the morning of January 29th, 2020. I submit Letecia could not pick up her husband in the Volkswagen Tiguan because it likely would have had revealed evidence of Gannon's murder, including blood, or the actual remains of Gannon himself. Investigators applied for and were granted by the court a search warrant for the 2019 Kia Rio, rented by Letecia Stauch. The vehicle was located at the rental car company at the Colorado Springs Airport and had not been rented to another customer in between the time Letecia dropped the vehicle off and when investigators seized it. Investigators did take a swab from a stain that was confirmed to be blood in the trunk of the Kia Rio and submitted it to the Metro Crime Laboratory for analysis. A DNA profile was developed and determined it was a mixture of two contributors, one of which was a male, and the major male profile did not match Gannon Stauch. I submit that because the Kia Rio is a rental car, it has likely been utilized by a large number of people, and the blood in the trunk may or may not be related to the investigation, and investigators have not been able to determine the likely age of the blood and have not matched it to any known DNA profiles associated with this case. Investigators noted that the Kia had a significant amount of mud underneath the vehicle, but this did not provide any successful investigative leads in looking for Gannon's remains. Investigators collected the air filter of the vehicle and attempted to identify particles that might be useful to identify where the vehicle might have been. Investigators were unable to recover any GPS data or location history for the Kia Rio. The Volkswagen Tiguan is important to investigators because they believe that Tiguan was used to transport the remains of Gannon from the Stauch residence to a location where Gannon's body was dumped. The definitive location of the Tiguan are unknown to investigators during the time period of approximately 1920 hours on January 28th to approximately 1200 hours on January 29th, 2020. Investigators believe that Letecia dumped Gannon's remains on the evening of January 28th, 2020, and utilized the Tiguan to do so, and the Tiguan was seized from Letecia on January 29th, 2020. Letecia had a scheduled interview with investigators on January 29, 2020 at the El Paso Sheriff's Office located in downtown Colorado Springs, Colorado, and when she arrived at approximately 1200 hours, she was driving the Volkswagen Tiguan. Investigators noted that the vehicle was wet and appeared to have been recently cleaned, and I submitted that Letecia had to clean the vehicle because there was likely visible blood on the rear end based on the below luminol reactions. Indeed, video footage was recovered that shows a partial view of a car wash located on East Platte Avenue, Bonfoy Avenue in Colorado Springs, Colorado. The vehicle captured a portion of a black SUV consistent with the VW Tiguan. This reminds me of Photos Doulos when they were running through the car washes, remember? At or about 11:30 hours on January 29, 2020, at the car wash. The time and location are consistent with raw data obtained from the Tiguan's computer system, described in more detail, beginning on paragraph 152. Investigators applied for and were granted a search warrant for the Tiguan, which was seized. Letecia at her interview was seized from Letecia at her interview and towed to the El Paso Sheriff's Office Evidence Facility on or about February 1st, 2020. The FBI Evidence Response Team conducted a search of the Volkswagen Tiguan. In summary, the forensic portion of the search revealed possible traces of blood on the rear of the vehicle, a rear passenger seat, front passenger seat, and an area near the glove box based on luminol forensic latent bloodstain reagent tests. Swabs from the trunk area were sent to the Metro Crime Laboratory for further analysis. These results revealed that a DNA profile could not be developed and that the swab from the trunk was negative for the presumptive presence of blood. To be clear, luminol is a chemical used to detect trace amounts of blood at crime scenes. And although I do not have a chemical or biology background, I have learned the luminol reacts with iron in hemoglobin found in blood. And when applied, luminol emits a blue glow when a reaction occurs. I also am aware that there are things other than blood that can cause a reaction, such as other chemicals. And I do not submit that just because luminol reacts with this substance, that that substance must be blood, and only that there is a strong probability of suspected blood. The positive reaction to luminol is meant to be combined with other facts in this affidavit in support of probable cause. Several areas of the Tiguan reacted to luminol. Specifically, the search team found evidence of suspected blood on the rear bumper, the step plate of the rear bumper. The location of the blood is significant because this vehicle was backed into the garage at Letecia's residence the day of Gannon's murder. The search of the residence is discussed below, but it should be noted that evidence of Gannon's blood based on DNA profile was also located on the floor of the garage, consistent with where the rear end of the Tiguan would have been. A photo is included to demonstrate the reaction to the luminol reagent to the likely presence of blood, particularly the position of the reaction leads investigators to believe the blood was likely in contact with the rear bumper of the Tiguan and most reasonably when loading Gannon's remains in the trunk. Swabs from the exterior bumper have also been submitted to the Metro Crime Laboratory, but those results have not yet been returned. However, the Metro Crime Laboratory did return a result from the trunk of the Tiguan that was negative for the presumptive presence of blood. And here you have some luminol reaction. Within the Tiguan, a receipt from a dollar store was located, timestamped January 27, 2020 at 17:14 hours, and documented the purchase of trash bags, baking soda, vinegar, and the items listed in paragraph 74. Investigators believe that Harley purchased those items at the direction of Letecia based on the following text message sent from Letecia's cell phone to Harley's cell phone on January 27, 2020 on or about 16:52 hours. Letecia said carpet powder, 2 things, baking soda, and trash bags. Also included in this dollar store purchase was baby oil, baby lotion, cotton rounds, and bubble gum. Investigators do not believe those other items were involved in the cleaning of the murder scene and likely to have no investigative value at this point. I know from personal experience that baking soda and vinegar are common household items that can be used to clean blood. Additionally, I conducted open source internet searches that revealed vinegar is one of the most common items used to clean blood stains, and that when baking soda is applied to blood stains prior to vinegar, it has an efficient effect in removing blood stains. When the purchase of items such as vinegar and baking soda are common and in no sense illegal on their own, the timing of the purchase of these items and Gannon's suspected murder are beyond coincidental. Also located was a parking receipt for the Colorado Springs Airport and documented that Tiguan was brought into the airport short-term parking lot at about 8:30 hours and left the lot at 19:02 hours, both on January 28th, 2020. On January 29th, Letecia returned the rented Kia at approximately 900 hours and was picked up by someone driving the white Jetta. Investigators were unable to confirm that Harley was driving the Jetta, but it is her primary vehicle and historic cell site location from her cellular telephone records support her phone was in that area. As such, I believe Harley was likely driving the Jetta. Okay. Investigators were able to download telematics. How's everybody doing? There's like 40 people, and it would be nice to say hi once in a while so I could get a drink. Terry, you hanging in there with me? Dookie, you still here? Where's Auntie Millions? Jen? All right. Where's all the blingers? Hi, Amanda, love. You just woke up? I'm just getting a drink for a second. It's all coming back to me now. Hi, Dookie. What are you doing? You cooking? What are you cooking? Something good? Are you cooking something great? Or are you cooking, what are you cooking? Hamburgers, steak, grilled cheese? What are you cooking? Tell us what you're cooking, Dookie. You're going to make me hungry, though, and then that's not good. Jen Proctor. Hello, Mr. Wu. Mr. Wu. Hi, Star Pixie's mom. It's wild that this woman is getting a retrial. There's everybody. You've got to call them out. Yeah. But you know what? If we want to support the legal process in this country and everyone getting due process, hey, you've got to. I don't care how you feel about her, okay, and that but it's her right, and you would want it if you were in her position. That juror should have never been on that jury. It is the judge's fault, okay, but it's the taxpayers and everyone that's going to pay for another trial. But yep. Hold on a minute. I got to put my phone on the charger. What are you making? What did you say you're making? Ow. You're making a pastaroni classic Italian. Like Scooter was cooking pastaroni? I doubt you're making that. Yeah, Scooter's no Italian. Come on now. Scooter is no Italian. I always forget what Scooter is, but she's not Italian. I'll tell you that much. I'm just getting a seltzer in case I need it. Okay. You agree? Yeah, Star Pixie, you've got to agree. It's a problem. The judge made a fatal, like just a structural error. It was terrible. I just don't know why it took this long. You're getting water too? You're thirsty? Okay. All right, so let's go on this now. So they believed Harley was driving the Jetta, right? She was picked up after she returned the Kia. Investigators were able to download telematics and stored electronic data from the Tiguan. A more in-depth exploitation of the Tiguan's electronic systems, more specifically its historical locations, were developed and will be discussed below in more detail. Investigators were able to determine some of the locations of the Tiguan on the evening of January 28th, including the location in the area of Highway 105 South Perry Park Road in Douglas County, Colorado. Investigators also served a search warrant to AT&T related to the international mobile subscriber identity designated to the Tiguan's Cornet feature. AT&T responded to the search warrant and provided the network event location system data that would give an estimated location of the Tiguan. The data revealed that during the evening of January 28th, 2020, between 2030 and 2020 hours, that the Tiguan was generally in the greater northwest portion of Colorado Springs, and likely also in an area north of the Air Force Academy and southern Douglas County. I submit that during this time period, investigators believe that Letecia dropped or disposed of Gannon's remains. Of note, during the period of approximately 2030 and 2020 hours on January 28th, Harley's cell phone is connected to a tower that would service the Stauch residence over approximately 30 miles from Letecia's suspected location. There was activity on Harley's telephone during that time, and investigators do not believe that Harley was with Letecia when she disposed of the body. However, at approximately 2026 hours, Harley's cell phone leaves the Stauch residence and goes to the area of Powers and Carefree, where investigators suspect she picked Letecia up. The January 29, 2020 interview and the report of an alleged R of Letecia Stauch. Okay, this is when she gets these crazy stories. Remember these stories? You're making some pasta, mezzi rigatoni baked with cheese. Oh, wow. Nice. As mentioned above, Letecia voluntarily came to the El Paso Sheriff's Office for an interview with investigators, but only after she was evasive and avoided speaking with investigators one-on-one. Her interview was audio and video recorded, and the below information includes her own statements as well as investigation geared towards corroborating those statements. In general, her statements are reasonably categorized as, listen to this one, they're reasonably categorized as untruthful, incomplete, and misleading. Letecia was supposed to arrive at 10 a.m. on January 29, 2020, but did not arrive until noon. Although she spoke with investigators on the phone several times, she did not want investigators coming to her home and was difficult at best to track down. Investigators provided food and water to Letecia during the interview. Of interest, Letecia brought several pieces of notebook paper with her that contained notes that she had written down. During the interview, she referred to those pieces of paper and asked investigators if she could just read her notes. Investigators were not able to seize these documents. I have conducted hundreds of interviews of subjects, victims, and witnesses. It is extremely rare for an individual to bring notes to an interview. Well, you know who else brought notes to an interview was that guy that, what's her name? Wendy Adelson, Jeff Lacoste. Remember he brought his notes to an interview? Letecia drastically departed from her initial statements given to the El Paso Sheriff's Office deputies regarding the report of Gannon's disappearance. In summary, Letecia said she had been held at gunpoint and arred by a Hispanic male she knew as Eduardo, and that Gannon was abducted by that male after he finished arring her. The interviewing detectives believed her statements were false based on prior experience in investigating SA cases. Letecia said she arrived home at 14:30 hours on January 27th, and she disarmed the security system. She went to the basement. She said that Eduardo was in the basement, and he attacked her, pointed a gun at her. She said that after Eduardo held her at gunpoint, he allowed her to go upstairs and greet her stepdaughter, Lena, who had just arrived home from school. Letecia said she sent her outside to ride her bike, and then she returned to the basement where Eduardo essayed her against her will between 15:30 and 16:30 hours for an hour. Okay, he did this for an hour. During this period, she believed that she hit her head. She may have blacked out. Investigators noted no injuries on Letecia's head during their contact with her. Letecia also said, and during the attack, Gannon jumped on Eduardo's back, and that Eduardo was able to throw Gannon off of his back and across the room. After Eduardo had finished, he held the gun to Gannon and demanded a suitcase. Letecia provided him with a brown suitcase and a cardboard box. Eduardo attempted to essay her again, but she hit her head and blacked out again. Letecia stated that she tried to fight Eduardo off, but was unsuccessful. I know from training and experience that if an individual holds another person at gunpoint, he or she would likely not allow the person to have opportunity for escape, as Letecia described being allowed to greet her stepdaughter upstairs before returning to the basement. Most crucially, if Letecia's story was accurate, any reasonable person would have immediately called 911 and reported the house invasion, the and the kidnapping of their child. Letecia called law enforcement hours later and did not report the alleged until approximately 2 days later. Of even more significance, Letecia said she cleaned up the area where the alleged attack had happened. She straightened up signs of disturbances in Gannon's room and cleaned up the utility room. Investigators recovered cleaning supplies such as carpet brushes, which contained suspected carpet fibers. I submit that Letecia did in fact clean something up, but it was not the murder scene of Gannon and not a essay. Okay. All right, so investigators took steps to corroborate Letecia's statements before dismissing them as false and misleading. For example, investigators reviewed video footage from a neighborhood security camera, which captured the exterior of the Stauch residence from the day of Gannon's murder, and they did not observe a Hispanic male entering the house. Investigators did observe Lena arrive home on the school bus on or about 15-11 hours. They did observe her enter the residence, and they observed her riding her bike on or about 15:30 hours. Furthermore, Letecia was offered the opportunity to have an SA nurse examiner conduct a forensic examination at a local hospital. Ultimately, Letecia did not want to have the exam completed. When given the opportunity to provide investigators with evidence that would possibly identify Eduardo, Letecia refused to cooperate. Right? It's crazy. Letecia stated that she met Eduardo on January 26, 2020, the day prior to Gannon's murder. She generally described a Hispanic male with brown hair, brown eyes, but she could not provide any specific identifying information. In summary, she told investigators that Gannon had knocked over a candle on Sunday, causing the carpet to burn. After that incident, she drove around the neighborhood where residential construction was taking place, and she met Eduardo, who was working on a house, and asked him if he would repair the carpet in her home. Eduardo agreed. And Letecia provided him the garage door code. Okay, that's good, right? Hey, I just met this random worker in the area, and I asked, hey, my husband's out of town. You think you could come over here and repair the carpet? Here, let me just give you the garage password so you can come into my house anytime you want. So, yeah, she gave him the password, okay? And they agreed he would repair the carpet while she was shopping the next day. Yeah, just go into my house while I'm not home, okay? Random worker that I just met. Come on in. To the extent Letecia spoke about Lena, investigators were able to corroborate those statements, but they never observed Eduardo or anyone else arrive or leave at the residence during the time period based on the exterior neighborhood video footage of the front of the Stauch residence. Specifically, exterior video footage revealed that Lena was riding her bike outside between 15:30 and 15:42 hours, and furthermore, the front door of the residence opened and closed at 15:28 hours based on the data from ADT security system. I know from training and experience that when individuals concoct lies, most reasonably to conceal the truth, they oftentimes leave portions of truths within those lies. And I submit that the statements of Letecia made referencing Lena and the time period Lena was at the residence are likely true based on the video evidence. However, her other statements, however, are blatant lies designed to mislead investigators. Investigators also reviewed Letecia's phone records during the time period of the alleged R, 15:30 to 16:30, and during this time Letecia had phone activity to include an outgoing phone call and numerous iMessages, text messages using iPhone to Mr. Stauch. I'm sorry, because this is just so stupid. And Harley, namely to discuss purchasing a new set of headphones for Albert. These text messages occurred at the following times: 15:41, 15:40, 15:43, 15:44, 15:45, 16:11, 16:19, and 16:20. So that we're to think that she's being AR'd, right? And she's texting all these. Oh, excuse me, Eduardo. Yeah, you just continue, and I'm just gonna. I just have to get to my husband. Let me tell him. I'm not going to tell him that I'm being SA'd violently. I'm going to just tell him that we're going to get him new headphones. I'm going to text other people. Thank you for letting me have my phone and the use of it during this. Come on. Investigators also were granted a search warrant by the court that was served to ADT security, which requested data stored on the ADT servers related to the Stauch residence. The Stauch residence was equipped with basement and living room motion detectors and contact detectors on the front and rear door. ADT was in possession of logs that documented, at the time, date and type of event that generated a log. For example, when either motion detector was activated or the front or rear door was opened or closed, there's a record of that event. Letecia claimed that she was AR'd in the basement between 14:30 and 15:30 hours. During that time, the back door of the residence, located on the main level, was opened and closed 10 times. Hi! Oh my gosh, she's so dumb. She's so dumb. Oh my gosh. If indeed Letecia was being AR'd in the basement, it would be impossible for her to open the upstairs back door of the residence at the same time. I submit that Letecia's claims of being AR'd in the basement are false, based on the cell phone activity and the stored ADT data. Come on. The logs from AD&T indicate significant activity in the basement of the residence where the evidence suggests that Gannon was murdered. For example, between January 23, 2020 and January 26, 2020, and the hours of 1500 to 1700, the average number of basement motion events was 3.5. But on January 27th, 2020, the average number of basement motion events was 10.3. Possible scenario for the increase in activity is that Letecia was going upstairs and downstairs in order to get cleaning supplies and cleaning the murder scene. Towards the end of the interview, Letecia said, "I want to leave." Investigators seized her telephone, "Hey!" and detained her while they applied for a search warrant to obtain her DNA. Letecia began stuffing tissues in her pants and said she was having chest pain and shortness of breath. Investigators immediately requested medical assistance and paramedics from the Colorado Springs Fire Department, who arrived. Letecia had appropriate responses to the paramedics' questions. I am aware that Letecia has made statements regarding Gannon's disappearance to individuals other than law enforcement, including but not limited to her friend, her husband, and the media. Indeed, some of those conversations have been captured and memorialized in recorded phone conversations and email messages. Letecia's stories have continued to evolve, and material facts continue to change, including but not limited to the identity of her attacker, the location of Gannon's abduction, and details of the alleged door. During her statements, Letecia did deny killing Gannon and provided explanations as to why there was blood in her Tiguan, blood in Gannon's room, and why she was in the area of Palmer Lake, Colorado. Letecia was transported to the hospital via ambulance for further medical attention. Letecia was accompanied by detectives during the ride to the hospital. Unlike questions at the El Paso Sheriff's Office by paramedics during the ambulance ride, Letecia was unresponsive to questions by medical personnel, but seemed to have a miraculous recovery when they arrived at the hospital. "Hallelujah, I'm fine." The ambulance ride was audio recorded. Letecia received medical care at the hospital, and the detail of the care is not included in this affidavit for medical privacy reasons. Okay, I've got to just show this person. Do you ever not read articles? How do you know these publishers fact-checked? You need to use your own words, mommy. Our word isn't funny. Our word isn't funny? Why would you laugh at that? That is cruel, not funny. Well, Becca B. You know what, Becca B? This isn't an article. This is, do you know what this is? This is an affidavit. This is a legal document. It is most definitely fact-checked. Apparently you're not at all familiar with true crime documents or legal documents. You've just made a complete arse of yourself, Becca. And no, honey, you're the joke, okay? Because you've just made a complete joke of yourself. Wow. You are really something, Rebecca. I would be embarrassed. No, I didn't laugh about R. I laughed about her lies because she's a liar and she's an evil woman that murdered a little boy. Okay? And she's a liar. And I laughed at how stupid her lies were. Becca, go find out what an article is and what a legal document is, because you've just made a fool of yourself. Absolutely a fool of yourself, and everybody in here can see you. But thank you for the view, Becca, and thank you for showing what a fool you are. Now we'll go on. Letecia received medical care at the hospital, and the details of that care are not included in the affidavit for medical privacy reasons. Letecia did not have any life-threatening issues and signed herself out prior to all her exams being completed. Letecia continued evasive behavior at the hospital, but particularly after investigators told her that they were going to detain her pending the issuance of a search warrant to collect her DNA. Ultimately, the search warrant for the collection of non-testimonial evidence was signed and executed. A search warrant for the compelled SANE exam was initially authorized by this court, but then was quashed by the court. To be clear, Letecia did not allow a SANE exam to be completed. Right? Absolutely. Let's go to, okay. Let me go over here. All right, so she didn't allow the SANE exam to be completed. Letecia was not in custody after the warrant was executed at the hospital. She left the hospital without telling the investigators. She also made a phone call from the waiting room at the hospital. There was physical surveillance being conducted by law enforcement in the area, and investigators learned Letecia was picked up by unknown persons at the hospital and was reunited with her daughter several miles from the hospital. Hey, Tori, how are you? Although her behavior was not illegal, I submit that as pressure continued to increase from investigators, Letecia became more and more desperate to leave the hospital, likely because she feared being caught in her lies. Let's see here. Stabbed him. Yeah, she stabbed him. She bashed his head in and shot at him 3 times. Yeah. Unbelievable, right? Okay. Letecia did not want to pursue collecting evidence that might assist law enforcement in identifying and finding her supposed arrest. Investigators searched the Stauch residence several times over several weeks after applying for and being granted search warrants for this case for the court. The purpose of these searches was to collect evidence, including biological evidence, in support of the captioned investigation. The forensic searches were conducted by the Colorado Springs Metro Crime Lab. To avoid confusion, the January 28, 2020 initial search was authorized by Mr. Stauch, and he provided consent to search the residence. Not all of the evidence recovered is included below. However, the forensic testing results of several items, including a pair of 8.5 Nike shoes, are discussed in paragraphs 126. Gannon's remaining family members were living in the residence during the period of these searches. Hey, Hart. And investigators did not initially seal the residence off. Crime scene analysts from the Colorado Springs Metro Crime Lab responded to the residence, and they found traces of blood throughout the residence based on Blue Star forensic latent blood stain reagent tests. There was visible blood in Gannon's room, in the garage, and other portions of the house. Blue Star forensic stain has similar limitations to luminol, which has been described and discussed above. By way of background, the residence located at 6627 Mandan Drive, Colorado Springs, Colorado, is a ranch-style single-family home. It's approximately 2,500 feet. with a 2-car attached garage. There are 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms in the residence. 2 of these bedrooms are in the basement, including Gannon's. Next to Gannon's room, there's an unfinished utility room. And on the other side of the basement, another bedroom and bathroom. There is a staircase with a small landing that allows access from the main level to the basement, and the garage is accessible from inside the residence. The Blue Star reagent was applied to Gannon's bedroom, the hallway leading to the utility room from his bedroom, the utility room itself, the staircase, and landing leading upstairs from the utility room. The pathway to the garage from the stairs and the garage itself. In all of these areas, investigators found positive results for the likely presence of blood. There was Blue Star reaction at the base of the stairs in the garage at the Stauch residence. Specifically in Gannon's bedroom, in a corner of the room, investigators located an area where suspected blood had seeped through the carpet, through the pad, and stained the concrete. Further, there was also blood stain, projected blood spatter located on the walls in this area. Indeed, over 50 droplets of suspected blood were found on the walls near Gannon's bed. Crime scene investigators also suspected someone attempted to clean the walls based on the way the Blue Star reagent reacted on the wall. Gannon's mattress was also seized and contains a red stain consistent with blood in the same area as the stain on the carpet and the blood cast off on the walls. The stains on the mattress were swabbed, but they were not tested with Blue Star reagent. The laboratory results have not yet been returned, but because other areas in the other blood in the area was determined to be Gannon's blood, investigators suspect the blood on the mattress is also Gannon's blood. So there's likely stains on the mattress here. I've included several crime scene photos that include the wall next to Gannon's bed and the carpet pad that was removed by the investigators to expose the concrete below. Based on the orientation of Gannon's bed, the vast majority of the blood would be in line with the position of his head and torso and consistent with the stain of the mattress displayed above. I submit that the blood located in Gannon's room appears to have been cleaned up based on residual blood residue on the baseboards, an electrical outlet cover, and the blood that soaked through the carpet. DNA laboratory testing has confirmed it was indeed Gannon's blood. And Gannon's body has not been found, reasonably indicating this was likely the scene of Gannon's murder. Investigators have requested, but have not yet received, a report from Tom Griffin, who is an International Association for Identification certified senior crime scene analyst, a bloodstain pattern analyst, and a crime scene reconstructionist. Mr. Griffin examined the blood spatter on Gannon's walls. Mr. Griffin preliminarily reported that the stains on the walls are consistent with one or more blood spatter producing events, which could include gunshot, blunt force, or a stabbing. Mr. Griffin did not believe the blood stains were aspirated blood, primarily due to the lack of air bubbles in the stains. Furthermore, the shape of the stains were affected by the surface texture of the drywall itself. What, honey? The new trial won't do anything. She will still serve life. No, Carolyn, you really don't. I really don't what, hon? Carolyn, you really don't? I really don't what, Terry? I don't know what Terry says. I really don't. Carolyn, you really don't. Okay. Furthermore, the shape of the stains were affected by the texture of the drywall itself. The final report from Mr. Griffin has not yet been received and is pending a peer review. Trace evidence swabs of suspected blood were obtained from the electrical socket next to Gannon's bed, and those swabs revealed the blood was indeed Gannon's blood based on DNA profile testing. The electrical socket also has evidence of streak marks, which are reasonably suspected to be from Letecia's attempted cleaning. When investigators removed the outlet covers, a visible red stain was present outlining its edges. The presence of the stain tends to support that there was enough blood around the outlet cover to seep around its edges, leaving a visible outline. Here's the outlets. And here's where they cut through, and you see the blood spatter here, and here's where they cut through and found the blood. I've also included a photograph of the suspected blood stain in the concrete located in the corner of Gannon's bedroom. Gannon's bed was positioned. This stain is also visible in the photo depicting the suspected blood spatter on the walls. The carpet above the stain in the concrete was clean, and investigators suspected that Letecia cleaned the area based on carpet fibers or scrub brushes, the acquisition of carpet cleaning supplies, vinegar and baking soda. 6627 Mandan Drive was a new construction build, and the Stauch family was the only family to reside in this residence. Right? Okay. Then we go to the next picture. So, where are we here? We got a picture here of blood on the concrete. So here's a better picture of the blood on the concrete. And on January 29, 2020, investigators recovered a piece of carpet from the utility room with possible blood stains. The recovery of the carpet tends to further support the positive alerts from the Blue Star reagent in the utility room. The Metro Crime Lab reported the substance tested presumptively positive for the presence of blood, but was unable to develop a DNA profile. On January 29th, 2020, investigators found in the dishwasher multiple carpet brushes with suspected carpet fibers on them, and the dishwasher appears to have been run. Investigators believe these brushes were used to clean up the murder scene. To be clear, no formal testing was completed to confirm the fibers on the brushes were carpet. Investigators also located an empty gallon-size container of vinegar within the residence. Mr. Stauch believed there were approximately half of the container left before he left for Oklahoma on January 25th. As mentioned above, additional vinegar was purchased on January 25th, 2020. Deputies that responded to the Stauch home on January 27, 2020, did not notice the bloodstains in Gannon's bedroom, and it should be noted the initial report was that Gannon had left the home and had not returned. As additional information was developed, more forensic searches of Gannon's room were conducted, which revealed the aforementioned evidence. There were small traces of blood found in the depressions of the drywall and paint texture that Letecia failed to remove when she cleaned the murder scene. I have received and viewed Metro Crime Laboratory report lab case completed by seriologist Sherry Holmes. Although I have discussed results related to this DNA testing in other portions of this affidavit, the intention of this section is to provide clarity and eliminate ambiguity of which samples were submitted to the laboratory and which samples were or were not attributable to Gannon Stauch's DNA. Right? I gotta get a drink here. Let me get some, what do I have? Should I have seltzer, I guess? Let me finish this first. And then I'll go get something else. So what do you guys think so far? Have any of you not familiar with this case? I don't think, Terry, you were too familiar with this case, right? Right? Becca had a thorn in her foot or something. Oh, Becca did have a thorn in her foot, Terry? I didn't know what you were saying because you said Carolyn, you don't. I don't know. I don't know what you said, Terry, that Carolyn, you don't. Okay. So the crime laboratory, here we go. Investigators submitted swabs from Gannon's toothbrushes, toothbrush head, from his tooth retainer that Mr. Stauch said belonged to Gannon. He had buccal swabs were also taken from Gannon's biological father, Al, his mother, and from Letecia. And from those samples, DNA profiles for these individuals were developed and used as a comparison for other testing. In summary, Gannon's DNA profile was found from blood samples taken in the garage, on the outside of the 8.5 Nike shoes, and in Gannon's bedroom. Letecia's DNA was recovered from the interior of the Nike shoes. So she had her DNA in the inside and Gannon's on the outside, right? I submit to the court that the lab results tend to corroborate the theory that Gannon was indeed murdered in his bedroom. He was brought into the garage, and his remains were loaded into the Volkswagen Tiguan, subsequently to be disposed of in an unknown location. To be more specific, serology, why can't I say that word tonight? Serology study was conducted by the Metro Crime Laboratory, and the following samples tested positive for the presence of blood. And these samples were also analyzed and compared to known DNA profiles of Gannon Stauch, Letecia Stauch, and Albert Stauch. And then there was something taken from a piece of carpet inside a carpet roll in the utility room and found to be a mixture of 3 contributors, at least one of which is male. And then it goes on, taken from the garage of the residence. It goes on to what they took. Here, a bunch of stuff. Then they have the historical cell site location. Investigators applied for and were granted search warrants by this court to obtain historical cell data records. Okay, and we don't need to go into all of that about what they do, but let's see what's going on. So on January 28th at approximately 5:14 hours, Letecia had a conversation with Stephanie, the children's babysitter, and she saved in the phone as Stephanie Sitter. as opposed to Stephanie Stander. There is no indication that Gannon ever went to a doctor, and Letecia never brought that up with investigators. Some, but not all, of their conversation is below. So she said, this happened after 3:30. We talked to him, and then we told him to be home by 6. Someone posted he wasn't at school either, says the sitter. Letecia says he had to go to the doctor for his stomach. But he went home in the afternoon. Where did he say he was at? Honestly, I don't keep up with friends. Letecia made statements to investigators via text message that could be considered exculpatory in nature, related to the presence of blood in the basement of the residence, as seen below. I have talked with investigators that were inside the Stauch home on January 27, 28th, and 29th. There was no odor of smoke. There was no evidence of smoke. In fact, one detective noted the basement smelled like coconut and was very pleasant. Furthermore, I know that burns oftentimes do not produce wounds that bleed profusely. So this is some of what she said here. Let's see. She said, when we came back inside from the smoke, there was blood on both of us. I didn't know what to do. I was scared I would get fussed out about it, and I don't know if he should go to the doctor. I kept trying to add the candle thing, but Albert kept saying it was small and minor. I was scared the basement was smoky. And when I threw the covers on everything, we both had blood. Okay, and then this other thing says, you don't understand how hard it is to be a stepmom. The below message contains instructions from Letecia to Harley to purchase carpet powder, baking soda, trash bags. The messages are important because investigators believe the purchase of these items is to clean up blood from the murder of Gannon. So outgoing message, carpet powder, 2 things, baking soda, trash bags. Investigators also recovered limited GPS location data from Letecia's phone. There are crucial time periods, such as the evening of January 28th. The investigators were not able to recover location history because Letecia disconnected her phone from the cellular network or turned the phone off. Where is everybody? Where is everybody? Where'd you go? You're all here watching. I see the numbers, but I don't see you saying anything. And Terry, what did you mean by Carolyn, you don't? I still don't know what that means. Carolyn, I don't what? I'll just sit here and take a rest. Just relax for a minute. Hi, Murder. You're listening? Hi, Murder. It's nice to say hi every once in a while. I just need I need to drink a little bit of something. There's Heart. And there's Maria Kitty Cats here listening intensely. Okay. Do you remember this case, Maria Kitty Cat? Seems like yesterday. It was 6 years ago. It was 6 years ago, you guys. It's crazy. Hi, Happy Cakes. Okay. Thank you, Maria Kitty Cats. All right, ready? You were having a snack. All right, so here we go. So Letecia stored several written notes within her iPhone. The majority of these notes contained what appeared to be usernames, passwords, or insurance information. There were several notes that appeared to reference her unhappiness in the relationship, and they shed some light on potential household instability. I was able to review some, but possibly not all, of the stored internet search history and websites visited, recovered from the forensic physical download and search of Letecia's iPhone. Between the dates of January 25th through January 28th, I know it feels like yesterday, Letecia viewed websites associated with searching for a job in states other than Colorado, such as Los Angeles, California, Orlando, Florida, Pensacola Beach, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Letecia also viewed apartments and 2-bedroom rental properties in Florida. I remember when she visited a moving cost calculator website. I remember when we were driving around on the road and then we went to the hotel she was staying in with her daughter and all of that. Remember that? And then we had that lady call in that it was actually right around the road when they found Gannon's body and stuff. Remember all that? You're listening to Terry. Terry, what did you mean when you said Carol and you don't? I don't know what I don't. Anyway. Letecia's internet activity was also captured and searched for a rental car, and she visited the website Priceline.com. It was televised, Maria. I covered the entire trial, gavel to gavel. If you go to this, we watched the opening statements again today in the first video, and if you go to the video description of this video or the last one, there's a link to the playlist where you can watch the entire trial. Okay, so let's see. She was using Priceline, right? On January 28th at about 8:17 hours, I submit this timing is consistent with the acquisition of the Kia Ria mentioned in this affidavit. Letecia appeared to use Google, a popular online search engine. I have included some of her queries to Google, along with the date and approximate time of each search, and not all of her Google searches are included. I submit that Letecia's search history is important because the history suggests she might have been struggling as a step-parent, and additionally suggests she was not happily married to Mr. Stauch. While her search history alone does not provide a motive to murder Gannon, it does shed light on her inquisitive thoughts of her position with the family memorialized in Google's search engine. I also direct the court's attention to the way Letecia's search terms are sometimes entered. Letecia hits the quotation key instead of the space key multiple times while searching the internet. In approximately 44% of the searches listed below, there will be significant during the discussion of a search conducted on Gannon's phone. Hi, Pudding. Okay, let's see here. On Gannon's phone, right? as was discussed above in paragraph 40 and will be discussed below further. There are other searches on Letecia's phone that use quotation marks, and additional search history over a longer time span does exist that is not listed below. Okay, here's her searches, okay? Find real military singles. Parenting should be 4 people, not 1. I'm overdoing all the work for my stepkids, and their mom doesn't help. Mom advice from stepmom. If you aren't involved, if your kids in your kid's life, you are shitey. My husband's ex-wife does nothing for her kids. I wonder if my husband's ex-wife is sending me a card since I raise her kids. I wonder if my husband's ex-wife is sending me a Valentine's card since I raise her kids. I wonder if my husband's ex-wife is sending me a Valentine's card since I raise her kids. One day, some people will wish they treated you differently. One day, some people will wish they treated you differently. Why should my husband choose me over family? Find me a rich guy who wants me to take care of his kids. Find a guy who wants me to take care of his kids and get paid. It's crappy some parents don't care for their kids or buy them presents. Parents are those who put their kids before their nails. Parents are those who put their kids before their nails. My son burned the carpet. How do I fix it? Will a humidifier help if exposed to smoke? Smoke effects will humidifier help. Smoke from fire effects. Will humidifier help? Colorado law for kids staying at home. School is out. Is it okay for my kid to stay home alone? Son is sick, but I have to go to work. Son's sick. Can he stay home? Suede repair kit for sofa. El Paso Sheriff's Office number. What is the process for our runaway child? Police steps for our runaway. Police steps for our missing child. Today's flights: Oklahoma City to COS, Colorado Springs. Can Nintendo find my Switch? CarNet Volkswagen. They are asking for our son's toothbrush, but said nothing is wrong. Investigators were able to recover internet search history that was deleted from Letecia's phone. No time and date associated with was located with the data, and I can only ascertain that the searches were conducted prior to El Paso Sheriff's Office seizing Letecia's phone on January 29th, 2020. Some, but not all, of the search history is included below. Some of the other deleted search terms include travel planning, shopping, job searches, and other seemingly innocent activity. I have not purposely left out any particular search that would be exculpatory in nature, and I am not intending to portray that all of Letecia's deleted searches were nefarious in nature. Hello, Sassy. Okay, so I guess these are the deleted ones. Find me a new husband book. I feel like I'm just a nanny, not a stepmom. Husband uses me to babysit his kids. Are there any free money to move away from a bad situation? My husband never posts about me, but does everything else. My husband only cleans up for the army, not me. I'm just a glorified babysitter. Find a new husband. Sent my husband sexual messages and he ignores them. Make my husband want me more. I feel like my husband uses me to babysit his kid. Find a guy without kids. Some deleted internet search terms located on Letecia's iPhone. No date information was available. Letecia Stauch's consciousness of guilt. During the first 24 to 48 hours surrounding the disappearance of a child, it is reasonable that an assumingly innocent parent or step-parent would be contributing to search efforts and fully participating in an effort to recover the child. In the 24 to 48 hours surrounding Gannon's disappearance, Letecia rented a vehicle, turned her cell phone off for approximately 4 hours on the evening of January 28th. She washed her Tiguan immediately prior to coming to the El Paso Sheriff's Office for an interview. She evaded law enforcement's attempts to conduct a more in-depth interview and did not participate in the search for Gannon. On Tuesday, January 28th, 2020, between 8:48 and 8:54, Letecia instructed Harley to pull your car in the garage via text message, presumably to temporarily cover up any potential evidence left behind. To be clear, Harley has her own vehicle that was mentioned above in paragraph 13, specifically a Volkswagen Jetta. On January 28, 2020, at approximately 16:04 to 16:17 hours, investigators asked Letecia for Gannon's toothbrush to recover his DNA. At or about 16:19 hours, Letecia did a search in her internet browser of "They are asking for our son's toothbrush, but said nothing is wrong." At or about 16:31, 16:33 hours, Letecia has a text conversation with Mr. Stauch. Letecia: "Something isn't right. I think they're hiding something." Mr. Stauch: "Who? The police?" Letecia: "Yes, they asked for toothbrushes." Mr. Stauch: What do you think they're hiding?" Also on January 28, 2020, at about 22:45 hours, Letecia made a statement to investigators via text message. At the time of the statement, Gannon had been missing for approximately 27 hours, and Letecia believed she was a subject in his disappearance. Without any prior prompting from law enforcement or notification of such. Letecia: "What do you want from me? Because I have nothing. One of your very own leaked to me what you guys were doing. I did nothing and/or am being set up. I'm not really even sure, other than being told by another blue with El Paso. I was told I couldn't go home to sleep, And on top of that, men were sent to a home with a minor female, and she was forced to stay there, not to even leave for food. Every conversation that said, even at this moment, I can hear inside, what do you want from me? Detective Bethel. Come in to talk to me. I would just like information to find Gannon. After El Paso Sheriff's Office investigators seized Letecia's Volkswagen Tiguan on January 29, 2020, she obtained a 2020 Nissan Altima. Investigators applied for and were granted a search warrant by this court to install a GPS tracker on the vehicle. Investigators monitored this tracking device, which provided particularly useful information on January 31st. A map with some of this data is included below. This information will be discussed below, and it relates to the areas north of Palmer Lake and along Highway 105 South Perry Park Road in Douglas County, Colorado. In summary, investigators believe Letecia utilized the rented Nissan Altima to return to the area in which she disposed of Gannon's body. Indeed, investigators recovered a piece of particle board from the area with Gannon's blood on it. This information will be discussed in more detail. Okay, so here's the map here, right? 416, 431, 444, 458, 513, she's driving around. She's around the area north of Palmer Lake. The fact Letecia came back to this area on January 31st is significant, and investigators have not uncovered any evidence that Letecia has family or friends that live in this area or any legitimate reason for her presence in the area other than to dispose of incriminating evidence. I submit a reasonable theory for the fact that Letecia returned to this area, based on the information presented in this affidavit as follows. Letecia disposed of Gannon's remains at nighttime and likely was nervous about the location she chose and may not have even remembered exactly where she dumped Gannon's remains. Investigators believe that on January 31st she went back to the area, to view the area while sunlight was available, to ensure no evidence was viewable from the road, to ensure his remains were adequately covered to prevent detection, and to see if any law enforcement was in the area. Remember, we were doing a map or something over somewhere, we were looking for evidence. It was, gosh, we've done this so many times, but it was like a field. I forget what case that was, and it just came back to me like deja vu. Okay. Investigators were able to remove a computer chip from Letecia's Volkswagen Tiguan, which was examined by the FBI. The FBI was able to recover the data, hereinafter referred to as the raw data, which included but is not limited to the estimated location of the vehicle, specifically related to the evening of January 28th and the morning of January 29th. The new data has not been scientifically evaluated, and the raw data that was provided was not portrayed to be an exact representation of the vehicle's activities. Additionally, I've been told that the raw data has particular limitations, including the inability to show the exact location of the vehicle. For example, if the Tiguan was taken off-road, the raw data may not show that and display the estimated location of the nearest road. Furthermore, the estimated location may have some degree of fluctuation in accuracy estimated to be approximately 50 to 100 meters. FBI agents, including Special Agent Neeti, took steps to verify and corroborate the data recovered from the Tiguan. In summary, Special Agent Neeti was able to take some of the raw data, including location and timestamp, and compare it to other evidence. As with other forensic evidence discussed in this affidavit, investigators believe it to be reliable. For example, the Tiguan raw data placed the Tiguan leaving the Colorado Springs airport just after 1900 hours on January 28, 2020, and this information matched the timestamp of the January 28, 2020 Colorado Springs airport parking receipt to the Tiguan data. The Tiguan raw data indicated that Tiguan stopped near a King Soopers parking lot for approximately 10 minutes after leaving the airport between 2008 hours to 2018 hours. Special Agent Neeti was able to review the video surveillance footage from that King Soopers, which indeed showed a dark SUV which matched the description of the Tiguan sitting in the parking lot during that same time period. Okay. Other footage, including video footage from a Wendy's restaurant in a separate location, helped to further corroborate the raw data. Of significant importance, the raw data showed the Tiguan in the area of Highway 105 South Perry Park Road between 21:15 hours and 21:30 hours on January 28, 2020, and I have included a map depicting that area, that data. The raw data also indicated the Tiguan stopped for approximately 5 minutes in an area proximate to the recovery of Gannon's blood on February 15, 2020. And this is the same area that Letecia likely drove to in her Nissan Altima rental vehicle January 31st. The recovery of Gannon's blood in this area is discussed below. Okay, and here's the locations here. Investigators were able to compare. You can't believe she's been granted a new trial. The verdict will not change. No, it won't. It's a complete waste. Putting yes, but the judge was wrong. Murder. And it's not due process, you know, and it was totally wrong. It was. It's the judge's fault. 100%. Investigators were also able to compare Letecia's historical cell site information with Nilo's data against the Tiguan's raw data. They found no reason to believe that Letecia was not the driver of the Tiguan on January 28th. And my watch is telling me, what is my watch telling me? It's telling me that I have to put you on the charger. Okay, Mr. Watch. Okay, so then let's see. Investigators conducted several consensually monitored telephone calls with Mr. Stauch. Specifically, Mr. Stauch, at the direction of law enforcement, communicated with Letecia via telephone and email. And these communications have been recorded and memorialized, and they consisted of hours of recorded conversation. I will not provide a transcript of these calls, but I will summarize the importance of particular changes in Letecia's story, and I will also include exculpatory information that's related to Letecia's statements. Letecia never admitted to killing Gannon. For the purposes of refreshing the court, here is a summary of some of Letecia's statements, whether to law enforcement directly through the media and or to Mr. Stauch in reported email and voice communications. On January 27th, Letecia stated Gannon left to play at a friend's house and did not come home at 1800 hours like he was supposed to. On January 29th, Letecia stated she was held at gunpoint, ARD, and Gannon was abducted by her arrest. Within Letecia's falsehoods, there are details corroborated by physical evidence that would be near impossible to know without being intimately involved in the murder. Letecia has made statements to explain blood on the walls in Gannon's bedroom, blood on the rear bumper of the Tiguan, and blood in the garage of the Stauch residence. Details of the location of blood evidence has not been released to the media, nor to Letecia, and has been closely held throughout this investigation. Furthermore, Letecia has continued to provide alibis for her physical locations not previously disclosed to investigators. Her statements continue to evolve in a dramatic way, and all are remarkably different from the original report to EPSO. The majority of the conversations between Letecia and Albert Stauch begin around February 13th, 2020. Over several days, Letecia's story continued to change, and during a phone call on February 13th, 2020, I just thought about something when they just said February 13th, 2020, because that's my son Michael's birthday, and I remember February 13th, 2020, Michael and Ray came up to the house, and Jay Bells was here, and we got pictures celebrating Michael's birthday that day. And I didn't realize that, this came out later, but yeah, we didn't know about February 13th, but that's where she was when this whole story was breaking a lot. But prior to that, I was talking about that every night, Gannon Stauch case. Okay. J Bells. Okay. Letecia stated that Gannon was burned by a candle to the point that his skin bubbled, and that Gannon peeled the burns off and wiped blood on his bedroom wall. Mr. Stauch did not ask about blood on the walls of his room during this call. The fact that she provided information about blood on the wall likely indicates her knowledge of the murder scene. On February 14th, 2020, Letecia had an additional conversation with Mr. Stauch, and she provided 4 additional versions of Gannon's disappearance. 4 additional versions. Yeah, right, murder? J Bell's angry face. Story number 1. When the El Paso Sheriff's Office came to the house on January 27th, the abductor was still in her residence, and she tried to signal to the sheriff's deputies that there was somebody in the residence. It should be noted that the sheriff's deputies checked the entirety of the house, and no additional person was located during that search. Story number 2. She was AR'd by Quincy Brown at her residence, and Brown abducted Gannon. She knew Brown's identity because she saw a paper, and his identification card fell out of his pocket that had his name on it. Letecia sent a photograph of Quincy Brown to Mr. Stauch via text message. It is noted this photograph mirrored images online wherein Quincy Brown was listed as a most wanted suspect, discussed below. Story number 3. Quincy Brown followed her from Petco, and at some point was laying in the middle of the road in front of her car. When Letecia stopped to avoid running the man over, he jumped into her car and made her take him home. And then he AR'd her. Now it should be noted, if she was driving the Tiguan, it probably has automatic locks, right? When she puts the car in drive, it probably locks all the doors. So how did the man jump into her car? Isn't that interesting? How did he jump in the car? Did she open the door for him? When he jumped up, did she unlock her doors and he jumped in? Letecia is what you call a liar. A very big one in that. Okay. Letecia and Gannon were near County Line Road, Highway 105 in northern El Paso County on January 27, 2020. And Gannon was riding a bicycle in that area and fell off and hit his head. And he was then abducted by Quincy Brown. In this version of events, Quincy Brown was driven by a man named Terrence. Hi, Val Ventura. I can't believe this nutbag is going to put Gannon's family through it again. It's really, it's the judge's fault. And yeah. The February 14th, 2020 story, number 4, has several interesting considerations. And during the period of February 12th through the 14th, it was public knowledge by virtue of media coverage that investigators were searching for Gannon in the area of Highway 105, South Perry Park Road in southern Douglas County, near the El Paso County line. Letecia brought this location up on her own, without prompting during a conversation, and provided an alibi for why she was in that area. Letecia was adamant that investigators' efforts to search for Gannon in that area would be futile. This area turned out to be significant based on the Tiguan's location on January 28th and that Gannon's blood was found in the area. Discussed below in more detail. Do you remember the interview she gave with that reporter when she's like, I can't get back in the house, I couldn't get my things. Remember? She was all windy and she kept hair kept blowing in her face and stuff. Furthermore, as mentioned above, Letecia drove through the same area in her Nissan Altima rental on January 31st. I submit that based on the raw data retrieved from the Tiguan, Letecia was likely in the area of Highway 105, South Perry Park Road on the evening of January 28th, and that Gannon's remains were dumped in the vicinity of that area. I remember going there on a Google map. We went over there. Letecia's story lays the foundation for a reason why investigators may locate Gannon's body with head trauma. Right? She's giving away clues, right, with the head trauma. On February 15, 2020, Letecia provided additional conflicting stories to Mr. Stauch, including that the story she told Al about Gannon falling off the bike was a lie because it was what she believed he wanted to hear. Letecia stated the blood in the corner of Gannon's room was a combination of hers and Gannon's, and in the explanation she stated that the abductor, this is so gross, essayed both her and Gannon with an object. Additionally, she was tied up at some point in the abduction, and the abductor was still present during the, where am I? The abductor was still present during the EPSO's visit that night, okay? And then Quincy Brown, age 37, was listed on El Paso County's most wanted list on February 10, 2020. I was able to locate Brown's photo on KKTV News website where they describe Brown as a black male. It is noted that during one of Letecia's stories, she described her arrest as a Hispanic male. The photo on this website appears to be the same photo Letecia sent to Mr. Stauch, and Brown has outstanding arrest warrants for failure to register as an SO, failure to appear, and these warrants appear to have been open since 2018. I was able to find a criminal history for Quincy Brown, whose date of birth was 10/21/1981, which included but was not limited to a 2001 arrest for first-degree kidnapping in El Paso County court case, which was pled to felony menacing. Investigators have uncovered no evidence to support that Quincy Brown was involved in Gannon's disappearance. Gannon's blood. As mentioned above, investigators began to focus their search efforts at that Highway 105 South Perry Park Road. On February 12, 2020, this is not an exact address to reference due to the rural nature of the area. The particular location was deemed important because based on raw data from the Tiguan and the location from the rental on the 28th and 31st of January, respectively. On February 15th, searchers located a piece of particle board during the search. That particle board had a stain, appeared to be consistent with blood, and then that was found to be Gannon's blood, right? Particle board here. A reasonable explanation for the discovery of the particle board with Gannon's blood on it is that Letecia used this particle board during the disposal of Gannon's remains. The area in which the particle board was found is rural, and the ground was covered by approximately 6 to 12 inches of snow. Additionally, as the area is rural in nature, it is likely populated by wildlife, including predators such as bears, coyotes, and mountain lions. Gannon's remains have not been located, and while investigators will continue to search the area, it is possible those remains have since been scattered since January 28th. The below map depicts the area where the particle board was recovered compared with the raw data from the Tiguan. Wiretap. Additionally, investigators were granted a pen, register, trap, and trace order, device order, GPS pings, and cell site sector information. Investigators monitored Letecia's telephone and recorded hours of communication between Stauch and others. Each and every communication intercepted is not included with this affidavit. As during other portions of the investigation, Letecia continued to provide different stories to different people about Gannon's disappearance. Letecia provided false information to her sister and other family members, during which Letecia provided multiple different stories for what happened to Gannon. Several of those stories were discussed above. On February 16, 2020, on a call at or about 1928 hours, Letecia told a female, believed to be Tila Cummings, that she has been giving Al numerous false stories because she knows he will not believe anything she says. On February 17th, a call at or about 13:53 hours, Letecia told a female believed to be associated with Laura Abernathy that she was thinking about flying out to Colorado to take a lie detector test to prove her innocence. And during that call, she stated, "They think I'm still in Colorado." On another February 17, 2020 call at about 16:11 hours, Letecia told an unknown female that she's going to take a lie detector test, but that the test is not admissible in court and no law enforcement would be present. Letecia attempted to obtain a fake polygraph results. On February 18th, on a call about 10:14 hours, Letecia called this number and conducted research on that phone number and learned it was associated with fakepolygraph.com. And during that call, Letecia stated she never got a confirmation for a test she paid for. Excuse me. Letecia provided the spelling of her name, and before disconnecting the call, the unknown male stated that he would resend her the results to her email. I viewed the website fakepolygraph.com and found the following information. Fake polygraph test. Get a fully verified fake polygraph test certifiable proving you have taken a real polygraph test. You choose the questions, the location, and the results. We send you a fully verified report within 1 business hour. The fake polygraph results are emailed from a local and real polygraph company. If your partner calls the authentic company, our team will confirm the test details. We are sure they will believe you. We have nationwide real polygraph companies in the following countries: the USA, Ireland, Australia, USA, and Canada. 100%. So I can't read that. Our polygraph reports are 3 to 4 pages and replicate a real report. The local polygraph company branding and contact details are the fake polygraph test report. The polygraph test results are emailed from a real polygraph company. Also on February 18th at about 11:16 hours, Letecia then again called the number, and during this call, Letecia inquired about an email she received. The unknown male stated that her report was blocked by management based on the content of the questions, and stated that with any illegal activities, they reserve the right to not send the report. Letecia's response was the following. Letecia: what do you do now? Just delete it and go on about life and keep the money? The male at fakepolygraph.com: yes, we do indeed. Letecia: okay, I gotcha. Thank you. Goodbye. Investigations contacted Luke Devlin. Utilizing the phone number that Letecia called, Mr. Devlin provided information to investigators, including the questions and answers that Letecia provided. Letecia provided the following questions and the answers that were supposed to be truthful to fakepolygraph.com. Do you intend to answer these questions regarding your stepson truthfully? Yes. Is your birthday August 4th, 1983? Yes. Did you participate in any way in causing harm to your stepson? No. Did your stepson return with you to your home? Yes. Did you participate in any way in causing the death of your stepson? No. I submit to the court that if Letecia has nothing to hide, she would not have to pay for fake polygraph test results. Yeah, that's right, murder, fake ones. And based on data collected by the FBI and reported in the Journal of Forensic Sciences, I learned that in over 71% of homicide cases that include false reporting, the reporting party is responsible for the murder. To be clear, this statistic is not being provided as the sole probable cause for the requested warrant, but as an additional fact to be combined with others listed in this affidavit. And based on Letecia's internet history, it is reasonable to believe that she was unhappily married to Mr. Stauch and had some degree of resentment towards the family as a step-parent. Furthermore, Days before Gannon's murder, Letecia appeared to be researching a move to another state, to a 2-bedroom apartment. In the sky. Okay, moving on up. Instead, she moved to a cell, right? Letecia has not provided a fully truthful statement to investigators at any point during this investigation, particularly regarding the circumstances of Gannon's disappearance. This would reasonably be suspected activity of an individual that committed the crime under investigation, namely murder, within approximately 24 hours of Gannon being reported missing and without external prompt. Letecia made claims to law enforcement that she was being set up. Initially, you were singing that to the sky, yeah, right? Yeah. Crazy, right? Yeah, I know. Initially, Letecia said Gannon was playing with a neighborhood friend between approximately 15 hours and 1600 hours and was expected home at 1800 hours. Within a few days, Letecia changed her story to label herself as a victim of R. Felony menacing with a weapon and assault resulting in Gannon's abduction by her arrest. Her story continued to evolve to include a new location of Gannon's disappearance over 30 miles away, several completely different sets of circumstances, and unprompted explanation for why Gannon's blood would be found by investigators in key locations. Letecia was unable to provide a logical reason why she rented another vehicle when she still had access to the Tiguan. Based on the aforementioned facts, it was likely because it contained the remains of or evidence of Gannon's remains. Based on positive reactions to luminol in the Tiguan on the bumper, indicating the likely presence of blood on the rear tailgate. A suspected blood sample from the interior of the trunk area returned a negative result for the presumptive presence of blood. Gannon's mattress had a large red stain on it that's consistent with blood. Based on the orientation of the mattress in the room, it appears that is where Gannon's head and upper torso would have been. Below that same area, a substance that was confirmed as blood by the Metro Crime Laboratory soaked through this same area. Blood samples taken from the wall, namely an electrical outlet, were also confirmed to match Gannon's DNA profile. Gannon's blood again matched the DNA profile was also found on a piece of particle board in the area of Highway 105 South Perry Park Road in Douglas County, Colorado. This particular area is consistent with Letecia's travels on January 28, 2020 and January 31st, 2020 based on GPS tracker locations of her Nissan Altima rental vehicle and raw data from the Tiguan. During her stories to Mr. Stauch, without prompt, Letecia provided explanations for why blood would be found on Gannon's bedroom wall. Other than Letecia being present for Gannon's murder and being present for the cleaning of the murder scene, there's no reasonable explanation for how Letecia would know that there was blood on Gannon's wall, as that evidence has not been released to the media. Again, without prompt, Letecia provided an alibi for why she was in the area where the particle board was recovered. By combining cell tower data and reviewing video surveillance and home security system logs, investigators believe, based on the evidence, that only 3 individuals with access to Gannon On the afternoon of January 27, 2020, were Letecia, Harley, and 8-year-old Lena. With the exception of Lena, who is not considered a suspect, it appears nobody other than Letecia was with Gannon at the Stauch residence between the hours of 14:16 and 17:30 hours on January 27th, when investigators suspect that Letecia murdered Gannon. Gannon has been missing approximately 4 weeks, and there have been national news attention on major networks related to his disappearance. Local efforts, including posters, news coverage, search teams, social media postings, have also failed to locate Gannon. Aerial assets, infrared, FLIR technology, and other extraordinary methods have been deployed to help locate Gannon. Over 200 volunteers have helped to search for Gannon, comprising thousands of man-hours in several different locations. Additionally, although the El Paso Sheriff's Office has received hundreds of tips, nobody has provided information that has led to Gannon's location. His family and friends have not heard from him, and Gannon is only 11 years old with no financial resources. Letecia Stauch was the last person to see Gannon alive. Investigators have not located Gannon's remains at this point in time, although the search continues. As additional time increases without locating Gannon, the more likely it is that Gannon is not alive. And based on the facts set forth above, I submit probable cause exists to believe that on or about January 27, 2020, within the state of Colorado and within El Paso County, Letecia Stauch committed the offenses in violation of Colorado revised statutes to include murder in the first degree, child under 12, position of trust, child abuse resulting in death, tampering with a deceased human body, and tampering with physical evidence, and therefore your affiant respectfully requests the issuance of an arrest warrant charging the same. So that's all the information to refresh your memory on this. Hopefully it does. If anybody's new to it, well then you know like what's going on right now. Right? So that's that. So who's still with me? Who's here? Come out, wherever you are. It's safe to come out. Where's B Lady? I'm looking left, B Lady. I'm looking right, B Lady. I'm looking in the center, B Lady. B Lady likes to look where I look. What could I be looking at? Oh my gosh. What am I looking at? Hi, Jet Setup. Hi, Amanda Love. How are you? Is there anything that you forgot in there? Murder said she forgot about the lie detector. Did anybody else forget about anything? You forgot the press interview. Yeah, right? Still here. Incredibly heinous. Yes, terrible. And I wonder how long it'll be before her trial, right? How long will it take? What are the next steps? Let's see if we can find anything about next steps here. Prosecutors have stated they are exploring their next steps, including possibly asking the Colorado Supreme Court to review the decision. If that does not happen, the case will move forward with a new trial. At this time, no court dates have been set. Okay. Okay, let me look at something else here. And remember that this was where Gannon's remains were found. Over here, we actually had someone, I remember, called in on our show, right? But they were found over here. Should dump them over there. Now, let's see. The El Paso County Sheriff's Office, this was in March, if I'm not mistaken, right? Let's see. Okay, let's see here. Come on. Trying to get the date on this, but it doesn't want it. El Paso Sheriff's Office has confirmed that human remains found in Florida have been tentatively identified as 11-year-old Gannon Stauch, who went missing from Colorado Springs area January 27th. The 4th Judicial District Attorney's Office also filed new charges in the case against Gannon's stepmother, Letecia Stauch, who already had faced a murder charge in the boy's disappearance. Stauch now faces a first-degree murder charge and 8 counts of crimes of violence. Hold on, this is jumping all over the place. Come on. Says Michael Allen, the Chief Deputy District Attorney for the 4th Judicial District. Our job isn't done. When asked about the investigation, the Sheriff's Office said they were contacted by the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office in Florida on Wednesday about a deceased juvenile male found in Pace, Florida, north of Pensacola. The District 1 medical examiner performed an autopsy and tentatively identified the juvenile as Gannon Stauch, according to the El Paso Sheriff's Office. Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office officials said a road construction worker found the body just off of Highway 90 and Pace. Okay. Near the Escambia River Bridge. Letecia Stauch was arrested on March 2nd in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. She's accused of murdering the 11-year-old boy. Okay, and this is, let me see, let me get off this thing, because this he was found on March 17th or 18th. Okay, March 17th. Gannon's remains were found by a worker. On February 28, 2020, a judge in Colorado approved a request from El Paso Sheriff's Office to arrest Letecia Stauch and charge her with the murder of her 11-year-old stepson, Gannon. Then on March 17th, Gannon's remains were finally located nearly 2 months after Letecia reported the boy missing. Gannon was reported missing January 27th. We know that. Okay. The medical examiner later concluded in an autopsy the 11-year-old had died after being stabbed 18 times, sustaining 4 blunt force injuries, and being shot once in the face. A jury convicted Letecia of first-degree murder and other related charges on May 8th, 2023, and she is now serving a life sentence for her stepson's murder without the possibility of parole. Okay. And that's, folks, is 4 o'clock. I can't believe it's 4 o'clock. How is it 4 freaking o'clock already? What's the matter? He's supposed to be the head of the church, but he's not. What happened? What's going on? King Charles has chosen not to make an Easter speech. Oh, really? Does he normally make an Easter speech? It's disgusting. He's supposed to be the head of the church, but he's not. He should step down. He has an allegiance to a different religion now. Really? What religion is that? What religion is that? Hi, Laura Stevenson's life. How are you? He made a speech for Ramadan. but not for Easter. Seriously? Are you saying he's Muslim now? Didn't they usually have some like Easter egg thing at the palace or something? I don't know what I'm thinking of. Their Easter egg roll is at the White House, right? Or something, some Easter egg roll. Tomorrow's Good Friday. Today is Holy Thursday. Joan D'Alessandro was also murdered on Holy Thursday. He should step down. He's got no right to be called king. Well, what are the people saying? Are the people saying anything? Are the people in an uproar about it? I would not doubt it. I believe it's the end of times. Really? So what are they doing about it, murder? What are the people doing? Are the people protesting about it or anything? You're angry? But nobody... What about William or anybody? What? They're not doing anything? How long has he been king? How long has his mother been deceased? How long has he been king? Christianity is getting banned in the Ukraine. You have no free speech anymore? What about William, though? It's bad here and all over Europe. But what about William? What about William and his wife, Kate? Let me look that up. Hold on a minute. William can't do anything until his father steps down. But he can't do anything as the prince. Let me see something. Buckingham Palace confirms King Charles will not issue an Easter message this year. Buckingham Palace has confirmed King Charles will not issue an Easter message this year. GB News understands that it is not a message that the palace releases every year, unlike its annual Christmas speech. The late Queen Elizabeth II did not frequently issue an Easter message either, opting to do so only during the coronavirus pandemic. The palace decision makes a difference from last year when His Majesty issued a message on Maundy Thursday. In the message, the king spoke about Jesus, stating on Maundy Thursday, Jesus knelt and washed the feet of many of those who would abandon him. His humble action was a token of his love that knew no bounds or boundaries and is central to Christian belief. King Charles, 77, also spoke about Judaism and Islam, adding, "The love he showed when he walked the earth reflected the Jewish ethic of caring for the stranger and those in need, a deep human instinct echoed in Islam and other religious traditions and in the hearts of all who seek the good of others." Despite not issuing a formal Easter message, the King and Queen, Camilla, did travel to North Wales today to celebrate Maundy Thursday. Is that what you call Holy Thursday there? Let's see what it says here. Buckingham Palace's decision not to release an Easter message will likely ruffle some feathers among Christians. Given that in February the King and Queen's social media account faced backlash for issuing Muslims a blessed and peaceful Ramadan. The message was accompanied by a graphic reading, Ramadan Mubarak, and a Arabic phrase meaning blessed Ramadan in a post shared on X by the royal family's official account. He's 77. He looks very old for 77, doesn't he? I'm trying to think. 77. Yeah, he looks old for 77. Okay, let's see. The message was warmly received by many social media users, with one writing, okay. Another responded, okay. However, the message prompted criticism from some royal supporters who noted it was shared on Shrove Tuesday, the Christian day of reflection and preparation before the start of Lent on Ash Wednesday. Several users questioned why there had been no equivalent message marking the Christian observation, with one writing that it would have been nice to see a message on Shrove Tuesday before the start of Lent. Another asked, "Where's the happy wishing for Christians for Shrove Tuesday?" King Charles also used last month's state banquet speech to acknowledge the Muslim president of Nigeria's sacrifice during Ramadan. Someone said in the comments he couldn't make his rejection of Christianity much clearer or his allegiance to Islam more obvious. Okay, so it says King Charles is under fire. The king rejects an Easter message and remains silent. Huh. All right. It's not a me. Interesting. Hello, Laura. Okay, I think it's time to do the word cookie. I went to bed very late last night because Scooter kept us up so late. Daily puzzle. Shudders, you and I got it at the same time. Utters. Yeah, remember that judge that oh, that just reminds me of utters. And then utter, right? Rude. Rude. And then rude. Nope. Used and abused. You know what we didn't hear all about? Her thing about the Garden of the Gods. Remember how they all went into the Garden of the Gods? The Garden of the Gods. User. He could have sent out a message for Easter. Says, yeah, he could have, right? Uh-oh, no. Keep the meeting active. Thank you very much. Suds? I think I did suds, didn't I? I thought I did. No, you can't have suds because there's not another S. Yeah, right. Sewer. Nope. Duds? Yep, we got duds is up there. Ruse, I think. Oh, yeah. I thought we did that, though. No, I guess we didn't. We have reds. Reds. One more. So many SU. Sure. No, we did sure. Oh, you were behind. Okay. It's gotta be. It has to be SU. No, it has to be. Hold on a minute. SU. What is it? Sued? Well, I thought we had sued. It's down here. Oh, hold on a minute. Shared. Okay. There we go. We did it. We did it. We did it. Okay, let's see now. Play. What? I don't even know what level we're on. Feta. 15. Mime. Mine. You must have said mine. Mice, I got. Got that. Economic. Very good. Economic. Nice. And that's a word there. Nice. Income. Hey, economic and income. Very good. Very good. Icon, it's there. We already have that. Let's see. Mince. Oh, like your mince meat, right? Don't mince words. You know. Extra word, mono. Right, omen. Okay. One, comic. Right, and conic, Harry Connick. Okay, very good. Oh, I know, coin, right? Yay. Down. Down. Land. Main. Red. Red. Lad. Lid. Aim. Mandolin. Playing on a mandolin. Okay. No. Hold on. I got that. Mandolin. No. Dang. Mine, says Dookie. No. Mind. is there, right? Mainland? Mainland, yeah. Very good. Male. Right? Oh, damn. That's the name. I thought you meant damn because mandolin wasn't there. How silly. That's what I thought you meant, Hart. Damn, that mandolin wasn't there. Paul Lind. I haven't thought of that in... Paul Lind. He was on Laugh-In, right? Wasn't he? I think so. Llama. For your mama. Inland. Mina. Amid. Lady, yeah. Mania. Mania. Made, okay. And then what do we have over here? Should be... Oh, I know it is. Male, right? No. Did a male already. Mild, okay, mild. Very good. It, Riot, yeah, into. Okay, somebody got into. Okay. All right, what else did you get? Riot, okay, I got that on there. Into. Troll, I got. Intro, okay, intro's a new one. Intro, very good. Trill. Okay. How about trio? Did you get that? Lion, you got lion? Okay, I already got lint. Trillion. Very good. Loin. All right. Iron, okay. Iron, somebody got. Murder. Yeah. Okay. Very good. I got torn. Oh, you got torn just with me. I know you say you didn't. It's okay. Tin. Tin Man. The Oz never did give nothing to the Tin Man that he didn't already have. Lilt. I know murder. I know. I know. Never can let me have anything, right? Never. Cord. I know. I know, murder. Doe, a deer, a female deer. It's there. Air. Yeah. Okay. Doer, I tried doer. It's right there. Okay. Decor rack. Yeah, right. Yeah, I think that might be an extra word. Yeah, dookie, that's an extra word. Okay. Ode. Yeah. Oh, row, 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 row. No, we already did row. Okay. No. Co-ed. How about co-ed? It's an extra word. Cord. I think I tried that, right? Didn't I? Maybe I didn't. Yeah, extra word. There, we've got an extra word. Core. I think we have it up there. Yeah. Red. Red, red, red. Yes. There we go. Red. How about redo? Code, I think we have it up there. Oh, no, we didn't put code up there. Oh, boy. Code, right. Oh, how about, let me see. Credo, yeah. Somebody already get that? No. C-O... Cord. Yeah, we didn't get cord. Oh my gosh. There we go. And deco, like art deco. Yay, we did it. Got that at the same time too, murder, though I know you're gonna just laugh and say no. No. Right. What do you have? Watery? Oh, waterway. Okay. I was just going to town. That one was hard? No. Do you really think that other one was hard? That wasn't hard. I don't think. I think we got that pretty fast. I don't think that one was hard. Not at all. Watery, you got that. You got watery? Did we put watery? What do we do? Watery. Okay. Ear. Okay. Ear. I'm going to put R. Because I know ear. Era. Era. Okay. I'm going to put U. No, we can't do that. Okay. Tier. Aware. Aware. Tier. What about teary? Teary. Okay. What about, did we do aware? What about wait? Oh, about away. What about away? Did we do away? Did you guys get it? Oh, you got away there. Ward, I think I already put up there, didn't I? I did do ward, but what? It didn't show up? Yeah, it's an extra word. Okay, I knew I did it. Let's see. Worry. Okay. Year. Okay. Y-E-A-R. Okay. Tear. Tier. Tier. Okay, we got that. What about tear? Tar. Tear. Tear. What do we do here? What am I doing? Can't even think anymore. Rye. Or rye. Are you, no, you didn't get that yet, did you? No. Are you? Are you? Oh, A-R-E. What? Am I what? Huh? What? Oh, T. Oh, try. Hold on. No, I can't do it. Oh my God, I can't get my thing to work. Try. You got eat. Eat, 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 eat. Okay. Oh, let's see here. Oh, I know, rye. Arty, I think I tried arty. It's an extra word. Yet. Okay. And one more here. What is this? We're going to have an advancement on this one. Yay! We're going to have one more and we'd have an advancement. Yeah. Then we have to play the other one. What is this? Area 51. Okay, yay, feta. You better. Nope. Down. Ten, not, none, none, and, amount. You got mountain, under mountain. Mint I got, did we do mount? M-O-U-N-T. Wait a minute, M-O-U-N-T. Okay. Into, on, no. Oh man. Okay, let's see. Nut, sometimes you feel like one, sometimes you don't. 1 minute you're in, 1 minute you're out. Okay. In. What else do you have? Nation. Nation. Very good. Union. Where's High 61? I haven't seen him in a while. It just made me think of the Civil War. Aim. Okay. Damn. Ion. Right. Let's see. Minute. Min. Knit. Okay. Nut. Okay. Out. Omni. Omit. Yes, okay. Main. Did I not put main? Main. Okay. What else do you have? Show it hid your moan. It doesn't like your moan. It says it's a dirty word. I don't know. Crazy. Atom. Atom. Okay. What else did you get? Omit. Mat. Out. Onto. Unto. Unto. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Tuna. Tuna. It said you were not putting in nice words, Murder. It didn't like that one. I had to go unhide it. Oat. Okay, unit. Unit. Okay. Note. Iota. Oh, I thought that would be there. It's not. No. Let's see. What ho? What? Oh, you got it too. See, oh my gosh, you're gonna see a laugh again and think, no, no, we didn't. Yeah, we did. Okay, do we got this last one here now? Let's see. And what do you have? Yeah, we did it. They said it was hard. It wasn't hard for us, right? We're fine. And now we have the advancements. We're Parmesan now. We've got not Feta, and we got to do this last. We got to always do the first one. We have to. It's the way we do things around here. Felix. B. The life. I'm trying to do fill. It keeps wanting to do this. I want to fix. What have you got now? Exile? Exile. Flexible. Very good. All right. Okay. What else did you get? That was hard. Oh my goodness. Libel. No, I didn't do that right. Oh my gosh, my thing is not working right. Bill. Capitol Hill. Right. Oh, what about Bile? Oh, you got it too? Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see. Hopefully. Okay. Elf. Where's Heart? She always wants to play the extended version and she fell asleep now. eel. Yeah. Oh, did we do, hold on a minute. Did we do feel? Nope. And how about one more? We can go to bed. You got this one up here? Bill, libel, have the hiccups now, great. Lie, Bill, we got that? Oh, beef. Did you get that? You did. Okay. All right, we did it. We're Parmesan. We went from feta to Parmesan. We'll do this more tomorrow. Very good. Thank you very much. Everybody see you tomorrow. See what tomorrow brings. And may the Lord bless you and protect you and give you his peace. God bless everyone. Love you guys. Say prayers for everyone in the community. Prayers for everyone in the community. Everyone needs them. And it's Holy Thursday. It's Good Friday tomorrow. Easter Sunday's coming up. Be kind. Be good. Love you guys. God bless. See you soon. Be good. Stay well. Till we meet again. Good night, everybody.